we are going to learn about the insurance. And in insurance, we will learn about the fundamental principles of insurance, their functions and types. The first type is life insurance, and second is fire insurance, and third one is marine insurance. So first of all, we will learn the concept of insurance. Insurance is a device by which the loss likely to be caused by an uncertain event is spread over a number of persons who are exposed to it and who prepare to insure themselves against such an event. It is a contract or agreement under which one party agrees in return for a consideration to pay an agreed amount of money to another party to make a loss or damage or injury to something of value. So overall we can say that it is a facility provided by insurance companies under which we have to pay the premium, and in case of loss or damage or any uncertain event which is mentioned in the policy, then they will compensate us financially. And there are two parties. The person whose risk is insured is called insured, or the consumer or the buyer of the policy is known as insured, and the insurance company is known as insurer. Then functions of insurance. First function is providing certainty. Insurance provides certainty of payment for the risk of loss. There are uncertainties of happenings, of times and amount of loss, and insurance removes these uncertainty and the assured receive payment of loss. The insurer charges premium for providing certainty. So overall we can say that it provides us a certainty in case of loss that we will get a certain amount. Next is protection. The second main function of insurance is to provide protection from probable chances of loss. Insurance cannot stop the happening of risk or event, but it can compensate for loss financially. The next function is risk sharing. On the happening of a risk event, the loss is shared by all the persons exposed to it. The share is obtained from every insured member by way of premium. So we are giving premium, and if that event happens, then we can share the risk also, and the money will be divided among all the insured members. And fourth point is assist in capital formation. Capital formation is a different concept. It means that construction of some immovable property. So when the accumulated funds of insurer received by a premium payment made by insured are invested in various income generating schemes, means every day each and every consumer is not getting the insurance claim. There are less mishappenings because insurance covers a wide geographical area, and the surplus fund with the insurance companies are invested, so it helps in the growth of the country by way of capital formation. Next point is principles of insurance. There are certain fundamental principles of insurance, and we have to learn them one by one, and they are very important. So first one is utmost good faith. In short, we can say that it is a principle of insurance which is applicable in all type of principles, all type of insurance, and where we have to disclose all the material fact in good faith. Suppose an insurance agent is asking from us about our health and in spite of several diseases we say that we are healthy and there is no disease, and we made a fake medical certificate, so that is invalid. In case if there is a mishappening, then we will not get the claim. So we have to follow all the principles of insurance. Thus, it is binding on the proposer to disclose all material fact. And who is proposer? Insured or the consumer. He have to disclose any fact which is likely to affect the mind of a prudent insurer in deciding and accepting the proposal of insurance or in fixing the rate of premium. Here, overall, we can say that both the insurer and insured will have to disclose all material facts. Like the insurance agent will tell us about all the clauses of the insurance policy, and the consumer or the buyer of the policy will also disclose all relevant fact related to the policy. So there must be a good understanding and good faith towards each other. Next principle is principle of insurable interest. In insurable interest, generally we take insurance for those things for which we want some sort of preservation, like our assets, ourselves, our family members, etc. We are not taking the insurance policy for our neighbors or our friends. So according to this principle, the insured must have an insurable interest in the subject matter of insurance. One fundamental fact for this principle is that it is not the house, not the ship, and not machinery and potential liability of life that is insured, but it is the pecuniary interest of the insured in them. Now, what is pecuniary interest? It means some interest in the preservation of thing or life insured. Suppose we want to save life of our kids and of our family members, so there is a pecuniary interest. We want to save our fixed assets or our house, our building, our car, so there is a pecuniary interest because all these things are our or we are owner. But it is not always compulsory that we must be owner of that particular property. For example, in case of trust, trust here does not mean the dictionary meaning of trust, but it means an organization. So there are various organizations which are known as a trust, where trustees work as a member, and there they are not the owner. Or you can take the example of school. The principal take insurance policy for the school, but he is not the owner of the school. So it is clear now that there must be a pecuniary interest, but it is not necessary that one should be the owner of the property. It is indemnity. Indemnity here means, like you can see in the picture, there is written accident, then after we got injury or injured, then we claim for the insurance and we will get the compensation. So it is similar that we are financially compensated by taking the insurance policy. So all insurance contract of fire or marine insurance are contract of indemnity. According to it, the insurer undertake to put the insured in the event of loss in the same position that he occupied immediately before the happening of event insured against. So suppose there is a shop and it catches fire, we have a insurance policy. So insurance company will make ourselves into the same position before happening or before the fire occurs. Means they will compensate us financially, and we will have the same type of shop. We will renew it, repair it, and make it same. So they indemnify us financially, and the principle of indemnity is not applicable to life insurance. It is very important point, because if a person dies, they cannot give us that particular person, but they can give us money. So the insurance company can indemnify ourselves financially only. They cannot replace that particular person with a new one. That's why it is not applicable to life insurance. Next one is proximate cause. Here you can see in picture that due to any cause the car struck the pole, and there are several other poles there or lighthouse. So these towers or poles may fall on some house. So there are different causes of the accident or mishappening. So in proximate cause, an insurance policy is designed to provide compensation only for such losses that are caused by perils which are stated in the policy. Means we will get the claim only for those causes which are written in the policy. If that cause is not written in the policy, then we will decide that which one is the nearest cause. The proximate cause means the direct and most dominant cause and effective cause, of which the loss is a natural consequence. In case of loss arising out of any mishap, the most proximate cause of the mishap should be taken into consideration. Means the main reason. Proximate cause can be learned as a main reason of that mishappening, and that reason must be directly or indirectly written in the insurance policy, otherwise we will not get the claim. Next one is subrogation. So in the picture you can see that there is an accident, and if it was a complete destruction of the car, means there is nothing serviceable or repairable in the car, then at that particular case the company will take the car, means the insurance company will take the car and give the compensation to the insured person, and after that it will sell the car as a scrap. Overall we can say that the insured person cannot take the compensation as well as the accidental car. The accidental car will goes on to the insurance company, and they will minimize their loss by selling it as a scrap. So let's start. It refers to the right of the insurer to stand in place of insured. Stand in place of insured here means the company is getting the scrapped car or accidental car. After settlement of a claim, as far as the right of insured in respect of recovery from alternative sources involved, after the insured is compensated, means the payment is made to him, and the property insured by him or her has right of ownership of such property pass on to the insurer. Means the insurance company will take that particular property because they have paid full amount of compensation, and the insured is not allowed to make any profit by selling the accidental car. Otherwise he will get the full compensation. Suppose the cost of car is rupees 10 lakh, then he will get 10 lakh, and by selling the scrap he will also get 30-40,000. So it is not allowed. Insurance is not for profit making. Contribution. Contribution here means whenever we take several policies for a particular goods, like in the picture you can see there is policy A and policy B, then If there is any mishappening, either one of the company will pay the full compensation, or if we want compensation from both the company, then they will decide their proportion according to premium paid and the sum assured. So as per this principle, it is the right of an insurer who has paid claim under an insurance to call upon other liable insurance to contribute for the loss of payment. Means if he has double insurance, he will call both the insurers for inspection of that particular event, and the insurers will share the loss in proportion of amount assured by them. Suppose A has we have taken the insurance from A as 10 lakh and from B as 5 lakh. Then the proportion will be 2:1. And the insured will have no right to recover more than the full amount of his actual loss. Means in any case he will not get a single rupee more than the actual loss. If his total loss is 3 lakh, he will get 3 lakh in the proportion of 2:1. And if the full amount is recovered from one insurer, then the right to obtain further payment from other insurer will cease. Means he will not get the compensation from other insurers if he has taken already full amount from insurer A. Next is mitigation. Mitigation means minimization of losses. This principle states that it is the duty of the insured to take reasonable steps to minimize the loss or damage to the insured property. Means we have to always try to minimize the losses in case of mishappening. Suppose goods kept in a store house catch fire, then the owner of goods should try to recover goods and save them from fire to minimize the loss or damage. The insured must behave with great prudence and not be careless just because there is an insurance cover. If reasonable care is not taken like any prudent person, then the claim from the insurance company will maybe lost. Or we can say, suppose you have insured your car and you cannot directly expose it to accident without saving or without having any effort to save the car from accident. So if we have taken insurance, it is our responsibility to take care of our goods, as well as in case of mishappening, try to save the goods from the loss or minimize the loss. We'll take one more example. Suppose a shopkeeper's shop got fired, and due to this fire most of goods are burning. At that time, if he is able to save the goods through the use of fire extinguisher, he must have to do it. If he does not try to save the goods, then also his claim may not be given to him. So it is very important principle. Next topic is, it is classification here. Insurance industry in India. So insurance are basically of two types, life insurance and general insurance. And in general insurance there are various type of insurances like motor insurance, fire insurance, health insurance and marine insurance. Now we will start with the life insurance. Life insurance is very important because our life is uncertain and we all try to assure ourselves that a certain sum of money in the future is reserved for any mishappening. So that's why we are opening many bank accounts, saving money by various alternative methods. So it is also a good instrument for our future risk. The risk may be an event which is certain, that is death. Death is certain, except death, nothing is certain. So in that case, what will happen to the other members of the family who are dependent on a particular individual's income? So the risk may be another example, the risk may be living too long, in which an individual may become too old to earn, or after retirement. After retirement, the earning will be decline or end. Under such circumstances, individual seeks protection against these risks. So life insurance company offer protection against such risk. A life insurance policy was introduced as a protection against the uncertainty of life, but gradually its scope has widened, and now we have various type of life insurance like disability insurance, health insurance, annuity insurance, and life insurance proper. Now we will see life insurance as a contract in which the insurer, means the insurance company, in consideration of a certain premium. What is premium? Premium is that amount which we have to pay as a consumer to the insurance company regularly, either in lump sum. Lump sum here means in total, or by periodical payment or installment. So we have to regularly pay the premium to the insurance company unless we get the, or unless we have a situation where two options are there, either the happening of event or the maturity of the policy. So there are only two chances of getting the life insurance policy matured. It is happening of, or mishappening we can say. Suppose we have taken a life insurance policy and the person who has taken the policy died, then the insurance claim, he can claim the insurance, and either he has taken the policy for 5 years or 10 years. If the term expired, then also he will get the certain amount. So it depends on two situations. The insurance company undertake to insure the life of a person in exchange for a sum of money called premium. This premium may be paid in lump sum or periodically, monthly, quarterly, half-yearly or yearly. At the same time, the company promised to pay a certain sum of money either on the death of person or on his attaining a certain age. Thus the person is sure that specific amount will be given to him when he attains a certain age, or that his dependents will get that sum in the event of his death. So it is a valid contract. There is offer and acceptance. There is a consideration also, means we are paying certain sum of money as a premium and they are getting refunded at the time of maturity or mishappening. There is agreement between the parties. There is free consent. There is no pressure on any one party, and both the parties are capable to make a contract, and there is a legal contract. Types of life insurance policy. So first type of life insurance policy is whole life policy. In this kind of policy, the amount payable to the insured will not be paid before the death of the insured. We will get the money only after the death. So actually we are not getting the money will be given to the beneficiaries or heirs of the deceased. Who are heirs or legal heirs? The dependents, whose name is mentioned in the policy. The premium will be payable for a fixed period, 20 or 30 years, or for the whole life of the assured. If the premium is payable for a fixed period, the policy will continue till the death of the assured. So means in any case we will not get the payment before the death of the insured person. Of policy is endowment life assurance policy. Endowment here means when there is a fixed period. Like in picture you can say pay premium for 15 years only, and after that you will get sum assured on maturity like 20 lakh or 30 lakh plus total accrued bonus. So it is a maturity benefit. In another instance of that picture, there is a death benefit. Pay premium for 15 years only, and if during this period you dies, then sum assured on death we will get as a compensation plus bonus accrued till date. So in endowment life assurance policy, the insurer undertake to pay a specified sum when the insured attains a particular age or on his death, whichever is earlier. If he attains a particular age, say for 25 years, then also he will get the sum assured. If he dies before that particular date, then also he will get the compensation. The sum is payable to the, in case of death, the sum is payable to his legal heirs or nominee. Who is nominee? Nominee is that person who is named in the insurance policy who will get the compensation after the death of insured. Otherwise, the sum will be paid to the assured after a fixed period, like if he attains a particular age. Thus, the endowment policy matures after a limited number of years. So, time factor is very important here. Either the time or death before that particular time. So, in joint life policy, the life of two or more than two persons are jointly insured, and if one of them dies, the payment is made to the survivor. It is also common in case of partnership business, where the amount is payable to the survivor on the death either of the two. The next type is annuity policy. Under this policy, the assured sum or the policy money is payable after the assured attains a certain age in monthly, quarterly, half yearly or annual installment of premium. In this policy, the premium is paid in installment over a certain period, or single premium may be paid by the assured. It depends on their financial condition. This is useful to those who prefer a regular income after a certain age. So, suppose after retirement. So, here in the picture you can see we deposit the money for a particular time period, and after a particular time period we will get the sum assured as a regular income. Next one is children's endowment policy. This policy is taken by a person for his or her children to meet the expenses of their education or marriage. The agreement states that a certain sum will be paid by the insurer when the children attain a particular age. Suppose we are planning for higher education or marriage of our children, then we can take this policy for a period when the children attains a particular age like 25 years or 30 years, whatever we want. So after that particular age we can withdraw that money, and it can be used for their either higher studies or marriage, etc. The premium is paid by the person entering into the contract. However, no premium will be paid if he dies before the maturity of policy. Suppose we have taken the policy for the age of the children as 25, and if he dies before 25, then he will not have to pay the premium and he will get the sum assured. Now let's learn something about fire insurance. Fire insurance is a contract whereby the insurer, in consideration of premium paid, undertakes to make good any loss or damage caused by fire during a specified period up to amount specified in the policy. Normally the fire insurance policy is for a period of 1 year, after which it has to be renewed from time to time. The premium may be paid either in lump sum or in installment. In the fire insurance, a claim of loss must satisfy the following two conditions. If we want to take claim, there must be actual loss and the fire must be accidental and non-intentional. So these 2 points means the loss must be actual. It is not imaginary that we just submit the paper that there is a loss, because the insurance company will practically visit that particular site and measure the amount of loss. Second thing is, it must be accidental. By accident it happens, it is non-intentional, means suppose we take an example of shopkeeper, he set his shop himself on fire, then he will not get the compensation. So the risk covered by fire insurance contract is the loss resulting from fire or some other cause, and which is the proximate cause for the loss. If overheating without ignition cause damage, it will not be regarded as a fire loss within the meaning of fire insurance. Overheating here means that our devices are not working properly and the loss will not be recoverable from the insurance. Next topic is marine insurance. Marine insurance is used for ships and it is for one voyage normally. A marine insurance contract is an agreement whereby the insurer undertakes to indemnify the insured. Here indemnify means paying in rupees or financially compensating the insured in the manner and to extent thereby agreed against marine losses. Marine insurance provides protection against losses by marine perils or perils of the sea. So what are these perils? These are the dangers during the journey in the sea. Marine perils are example are collision of ship with the rock, or ship attacked by the enemy, or fire, or captured by pirates, and action of the captains and crew of the ship. So these perils cause damage and destruction or disappearance of the ship and cargo. Cargo is the goods loaded on the ship, and non-payment of freight. Freight is the rent of the ship. So generally public hire the ship for transportation of their goods, and there are shipping companies who are running like the taxis. So the person who hires the ship or a particular space have to pay the freight to the shipping company. So marine insurance insures ship, hull, cargo and freight. Hull here means the body of the ship, cargo means the goods loaded on the ship, and freight is the rent of the or fare of the ship. Now marine insurance covers many losses like damage to ship due to any mishappening like crash or collision or attack by pirates, providing coverage to cargo against any damage, loss or misplacement, cover the loss of freight, cover life of crew members and others on the ship. So we start with the ship or hull insurance. Since the ship is exposed to many danger at sea, the insurance policy is for indemnifying the insured for losses caused by damage to the ship. So who will get this compensation? The shipping company. If anything happens to ship, it is damaged or it is attacked by the pirates or it is disappeared, then the shipping company will get the insurance. Then next one is cargo insurance. In case of cargo insurance, first of all, cargo means the goods loaded on the ship, and the cargo belongs to the consumers. It is not belong to the shipping company. So who will take the cargo insurance? The consumers who is transporting their goods by hiring the ship to other country or other place. The cargo while being transported by ship is subject to many risks. These may be at port or risk of theft, lost goods, or on voyage. Voyage means the traveling through sea. Thus, an insurance policy can be issued to cover against such risk to cargo, and the compensation will be paid to the businessman who is transporting their goods through ship. And the third one is freight insurance. Now, who will get the freight? The shipping company will get the freight, and the shipping company will take freight insurance policy. If the cargo loaded on the goods does not reach to the destination, then the consumer will not pay the freight because his goods are also lost. So for that purpose, or for the loss of that cargo, they will not get the freight, and for the loss of freight they will have an insurance policy. So if the cargo doesn't reach to the destination due to damage or loss in transit, the shipping company is not paid freight charges. The freight insurance is for reimbursing or helping them for the loss of freight to the shipping company. So there are three types of marine insurance. Ship insurance for the ship, which is this policy is taken by the shipping company. Cargo insurance is for goods, which is taken by the consumers or the businessmen who are transferring their goods from one place to another. And freight insurance for rent, and this insurance policy is taken by the shipping company. So students, I hope you have understood a little bit about it. If you have any queries, you can ask me. Thank you.